picks. Angry Titans, very scary situation now. As if they do lose Dorado, this map and this match will go on to match point for Team Gigantti, putting so much more stress on their backs, and we will be going to Control as our next game mode as well. And we all know how that went in the first map of the series, 2-0 on Lijiang Tower. That was for Team Gigantti.
Yeah, it was pretty clean on Control for both of our teams in their semi-finals yesterday, though. But like you said, Team Gigantti 2-0 on Control on the day, and to be honest, on the day is the only performance that really matters when it comes to these playoffs. So, going to see what Team Gigantti can do to move forward here. It's going to be an aggressive defense from Angry Titans. Lolsish already throwing out one of those fire strikes, and he actually put it a little bit high, trying to make the Zarya of Davin waste his bubbles to try and farm some energy so they could be aggressive off the side of that.
That is the grandest of debates right there.
Yeah, that's mind games.
The mind game in the flame strike, or the fire strike even. Same thing. Flame and fire, they're the same thing, I think.
Absolutely.
Good.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Zupe's not going to agree that these guys should be alive for long. He's throwing out these ores, but just like the aggression is going to be going straight onto Milky Man. Lolsish can hold up his shield here and try and survive.
Well, we know how much that matters. The main tank going down for Team Gigantti. Davin not quite finding the kill on Lolsish. You can see how his low his shield was. And once more, we are seeing the Little Bow and Luddy, to be fair, just going so aggressive on the Lucio, trying to boot the Rhine into the enemy team and either removing the shield or just putting him in a very unfavorable position.
Exactly that, but it's most effective when the other Reinhardt can swing into him. That's why you want them so proximal, because other guys don't suffer so much from the damage drop-off. So usually you want them into the hands of your own Rhine, but then Milky Man obviously was the first one to fall. And look at the disparity in ultimate charge. Milky Man currently about 30%, whereas Lolsish, he's 1 or 2 fire strikes away from having that Earth Shadow ready. So we need to watch where Erky's going to be coming from to try and set this one up.
Nice fire strike through Lolsish's shield. There you go, 93%, and only God actually has the grab too. David's not that far behind, only 20% away. Got to be more careful though. They are holding this corner, of course. Lolsish waiting for his shield to come back. You see diving straight onto Milky Man. There's the grab, and the Transcendence will be there to match it. Try and remove the shield as the bomb does go off. Milky Man will be the recipient of all that damage. Team Gigantti, they're going to have to go again.
I'd love to see Erky here be a little bit more sneaky, try and maybe hide around the side where we see Onigod currently firing from in order to try and get one of those all-important shield bashes onto Milky Man. Team Gigantti are going to have to defend Milky Man so much in the ensuing fight because he's going to be the primary target of not only Erky but also Lolsish.
See, look how... Oh my goodness, Davin throws the grab in. I believe that just got eaten as well. A Transcendence for Angry Titans, the Gigantti laying down the beat. Milky Man's going to throw down that shadow. There's the bomb straight on top for 3 people. But the overshield helped them out. They managed to survive the initial burst of damage. But Facility makes sure they wander all the way back to spawn. That'll be Team Gigantti. They were going to win the first fight, but look how far they've moved the car. Not even around the first corner, Harry.
Yeah, look at the distance and look at the time bank, Jaws. 1 minute and 30 seconds is all that remains for Dorado A, and this is by no means complete. We're now getting into one of the even more defensible stages of this Dorado area, and that's going to be the market in the beginning. We do see Milky Man. He's just going to be pushing the cart along, throwing out those fire strikes, and Team Gigantti invested so much in that last fight. They're now at a distinct disadvantage. Onigod, if we hit Lolsish with the shadow first, he can build up another one by swinging into Onigod's grab.
Beautiful grab, Transcendence to match. Lolsish has gotten himself another shadow. Hits the floor. Milky Man is going to go down. However, still a lot of healing coming through. 2-for-1 traders, Milky Man, Lolsish, and Erky 4, but Transcendence from Angry Titans to burn even more time. Elivo still has that self-destruct, and Davin throwing that grab in is actually going to pin Luddy to the statue, and now Angry Titans are in trouble. They have no speed boost, no AoE healing either, and the Zenyatta all left alone. Zupe finds the solo kill. Team Gigantti should be able to cap this, although Lolsish coming back in, and in fact, Erky building himself towards that rally could save the day. Not quite, though. They do manage to cap the first point, and 3 minutes remain in their time bank.
Now it's a little bit stingy on the side of Angry Titans, not wanting to invest their support ultimates after Lolsish laid down the solo shadow on Milky Man. And Team Gigantti, even though Milky Man did die there, they rounded upon Angry Titans and punished them for their aggression. Erky was taken out incredibly easily, because when you're trying to follow up on those Earth Shadows, you often tunnel vision. You just want to hold down M1. You're not going to be shielding yourself, so you get burned down incredibly quickly by the sustained fire. And Zupe, we know he's hitting these headshots again and again. Angry Titans going to try and engage it from the high ground. Going to be jumping down onto Milky Man, but they've got to be cautious because Milky Man's ready to lay down a shadow.
Oh, no. So many effects, so much damage. Erky's already dead. Gigantti just running through Angry Titans. Although, most importantly for AT right now, they're on the defense, yes, so they're going to take a little bit more time to actually reconvene, but they didn't use any ultimates in that fight, and Team Gigantti actually used the Shatter and the Transcendence.
That's true. They may well be running out of steam right here. They're going to have to try and get Dav in that Graviton Surge to combine with a Self-Destruct if they want to be able to seal this out effectively on the second point. Meanwhile, Angry Titans, they need to go back to controlling the tempo. They need to strike first. Only God needs to be cautious though. Zappis often has his number. You can see he's watching out right now. He's looking for that grab. He's got his eyes on Only God. The pressure is on to try and eat this ultimate.
He's looking right at him, and Only God actually had to back off there. He does manage to connect the Graviton Surge, as well as that Self-Destruct landing on top. Visibility was right at the heart of the Self-Destruct, ends up going down, and Milky Man went down too. That charge, no shield available, does end up finding the kill onto him. Now Gigantti, they have 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. They do have the grab and Zappis with the Self-Destruct. Gigantti combo's gonna have to go off in this next fight, otherwise they will run out of steam.
Credit to Lolsish there, under pressure, did manage to climb up onto the payload and hit the charge. Often if you do have one of those higher Gravitons, it's harder to deliver that charge onto the Reinhardt where you want it because the hitboxes don't often intersect very well when people are drawn up into the air. Look at Milky Man already going down, attempts at shield.
Textbook combo, shield bash straight into the Shatter as Davin gets killed off. And will be a beat invested by Angry Titans there. Milky Man going down. They don't want to take any chances.
Well, the beat there from Luddy was also super cool in terms of tech. He actually did it on top of this red van that you might see if they go around the corner. And because of that, it meant that there were no impedances to the zone of effect from the line of sight of the origin point of a sound barrier. And that was really good. It meant that everyone on Angry Titans would be affected by that beat. And now Angry Titans are going to rotate around, meet Team Gigantti as they go onto the cart. But remember, while Team Gigantti are on the cart, they do have a little bit of healing to play with.
Gigantti combo laid out, shield removed, and Urki's dead. Lolsish in no man's land. 2 members dead for Team Gigantti. Only God can't quite earn himself another Graviton, and it is now clean-up crew. Gigantti are going to be able to march forward. They are going to be able to cap. So close was it to overtime, and they're not going to have much time left now entering the warehouse.
We'll get 1 minute and 30. There it is, 1 minute and 30 on the clock to try and get through this third and final point, but they're going to be putting their pedal to the metal. He went past Lolsish.
Shatter! Lolsish didn't know what was going on. Little Boy finds 2, and they're still going to be able to move the cart here, but they can play so far up, Harry, near the spawn. So close to these spawn points to the points, but the issue is, Harry, there's so many chokes that Milky Man can now place himself in.
Oh, hey guys, I guess I'm just going to walk out of respawn right here, but Milky Man's just going to walk right through your shield, lay down 3 behind you, and Luddy unable to really save anyone. Lilbo's the one who picked up the kills, and you can see Angry Titans now have had to regroup. They don't really have any ultimates available. They're getting close to some, but close isn't available. Team Gigantti have a Transcendence if they need it, if they're put under huge pressure. Lolsish just needs to hit 1 strike and then potentially combine with Urki. That's one of the only hopes that are available.
Be pretty scared. If I were Team Gigantti right now, as Delivote does have that Self-Destruct. There you go, ults online now. Harry, Gigantti combo available for Angry Titans, as Only God has got the Graviton Surge. Milky Man is going to be able to sustain hopefully during this. Put the shield up. There goes the Self-Destruct. Little Bo is going to go down. In fact, Zappis' mech is also going to fall. They trade supports though, as 8box does get pinned by Milky Man. But 18, they do have spawn priority. 26 seconds remain, so Gigantti still have to touch the point to make sure they can push it to the last.
Ideally, you'd want to back off and regroup, but no! Milky Man's not going to give you a chance to do that. You're on the floor, son.
Lolsish is going to go down though, Harry. This is an issue for 18 now. Lolsish had that Shatter. Both beats have been laid down, and now Zappis has the Self-Destruct. They can march forward with almost impunity. Only God and Urki are going to soon follow him. Back. Overtime is now in session, and Lolsish is now back on the cart. He's got the Shatter and a Dream, but it's diminished. Lolsish and 8box are dead. Delivote is also going to die. Luddy comes in for the final touch, but the Self-Destruct ends his life.
20 seconds remaining. You're down players. You want to regroup, but you can't because you can't make that commute and regroup at the same time. It's got to come down to the clutch factor, and that is where Milky Man, Milky Beast, Milky God delivers. He put Lolsish on the floor. He got rid of one of the win conditions available for Angry Titans in that Earth Shatter, because that's exactly what Angry Titans have been relying on a lot, making sure that Lolsish is a presence which is so much a threat to Milky Man, and they've removed him so quickly there, and then just kill after kill, because once your shield's gone, that not only means that you don't have a shield to protect you, that means that the enemy are doing so much more damage, they're building more ult charge, they can come in with additional stuff, like the Self-Destructs, like the Graviton Surges and the Transcendences, because they have no permanent impedance to the damage that they're laying down.
Milky Man came in as the rookie to this roster in amongst veterans of Contenders and Overwatch League. Angry Titans now on the offense, standing up against Milky Man. Very, very tough task. Throughout the season, he really has proved himself. First couple of weeks, it was fairly rough for Gigantti. It felt like they hadn't really found their groove, but right now you can see exactly why they brought Milky Man on.
It's the new kid on the block. He's also the new kid with the block. Lolsish there tried to clutch it out with that Earth Shadow, but Milky Man, quick flick of a shield. He knew exactly what was going down, didn't give any of that opportunity over. But of course, Team Gigantti did complete that with no time left in their bank, which means Angry Titans can do it quicker. And well, this was the team choice for Team Gigantti, so you've got to admit they're probably going to have a good plan here as to what they're going to do with their defense. Once again, it's an aggressive hold. Milky Man, he has seen now that Onigod has used both of his projected barriers. Davin the same, so both teams going to be a little bit more cautious about making the engagement here. They can't protect their Reinhardt as effectively as they'd like.
Same old 3-3 though for both teams. Holding at the corner, of course, buying for as much time as possible. And Zappis, eyes in the sky on the Diva. He's trying to eat as many of those flame strikes as possible. Lolsish did get his own ult line really quickly last time around. Valibo doing a good job there of actually knocking Zappis off, and he can't actually get and retake the high ground. He uses his thrusters.
Well, that high ground won't be available until the thrusters back off cooldown, which is now, but they're both caught in this sort of small hallway. Milky Man can be taken
Milky
down.
Man the charge. I don't know about that, buddy. Elivo's going to be able to find the kill, and now with Zappis mech going down also, that's 2 tanky targets that Angry Titans really don't have to deal with. Although Lolsish is getting bullied by the supports, the rest of Angry Titans having to make sure they don't actually find the kill. There you go, he gets a little bit of revenge on Zappe with the 5-star.
There was a breakdown in communication. We saw Gigantti, half the team went one way and half the team went down that stairwell, so Milky Man had to try and make a percentage play with a charge to reconnect with his team or get an opening frag so the remainder of his team could move forward, but got caught out with the shield bash from mutual stun for both Brigida and the Reinhardt. But the Brigida is amongst her team, Reinhardt is amongst the enemy team, so definitely a losing play there for Milky Man. But look at all the ultimates that are coming up online. No one really had to invest in that last fight because it was so brawly. It's going to be an ultimate showdown, Jaws. It's going to be 12 of them available.
They sniffed out Onigod, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. Onigod throws the mech in. No kills just yet. No mech no self-destruct available for Team Gigantti with that Graviton Surge. 4 people hit the ground, but the beat also lands, meaning that they're going to be able to survive the initial onslaught of Team Gigantti. Another Shatter, this time out, Alosis is going to get matched with a beat as well. That's been already up to 40% on another grab. Building these so quickly. Onigod near enough the same though, 50% of his own.
Well, he's going to be trying to build up a little bit more. He's got 8% charge to do it with. Lolsish making a commute, trying to catch out Zappis, but Zappis is going to thrust on away. Zappe almost has the Transcendence ready to go. He's ahead of A-Fox here.
Onigod's only 20% away. Davin 2. So quick were people like hardest to build up grabs. Davin and Onigod definitely taking a leap out of his book. Grab getting thrown in. Actually, one of them lands at the back with the Transcendence to match. Another one too. Both Transcendences stopping the damage going down onto the Graviton targets. And now it's all up to the Rhines. Milky Man a little bit behind on the Earth Shadow as Lolsish is nearing the 70% mark. A-Fox dashes forward, in fact, with the brick and kills Facility off.
That was a percentage play. Facility caught out with a shadow there. Lolsish, you got to get out of there. Oh, he's caught it, but no, Milky Man's going to help him out with a quick charge to bash him out of there, but there is a potential for a recontest.
Lil Bo used that speed boost to march on forward. That beat even landing on Milky Man, but look at the target focus coming out from Angry Titans. Milky Man's dead and Lil Bo's going to go down as well. They bought so much time on this point, Harry, and in fact, only got nearing his 3rd grab of this fight. They finally managed to get the cap as the rest of Team Gigantti are cleaned up.
He talked about it there, Jaws, target focus. That's exactly what was needed from Angry Titans. They decided that their attempts to take out Milky Man early with the bash combos, putting the Discord orb on him, were just not working out as well as possible. They instead pressured Milky Man, forced Davin to use that projected barrier, and then they walked on past him with Urki and they shield bashed Facility. They got the Discord orb on him. There was no way to shield himself because of a shield bash. A-Fox, well, couldn't save him. Zappe hit the orbs, and that was the opening pick they needed. Then it was a distinct advantage for Lolsish in his duel against Milky Man.
As the grab on the car only finds Urki, might not matter as Zappe is able to, well, A-Fox is able to take it out with Zappe. Milky Man caught in a grab of his own. You can see again, they don't go for Facility. They focus down Milky Man first. Facility is an afterthought as Lolsish ends up pinning him against the wall. Angry Titans win another fight, but only one ultimate was actually invested in that one as well. Team Gigantti have a couple online, but two support ultimates, well, one support ultimate's not going to be there for this next one, and Team Angry Titans might just be able to roll this on second.
Well, that's an investment that will pay dividends. 5 ultimates ready to go for Angry Titans. They can try and combine the Earth Shatter and the Self-Destruct once again, but it's all down to Urki trying to get the slam here onto Milky Man. Davin's going to be cooked with the bubbles. We know that he is. He's one of the fastest draws in the West, especially when it comes to this.
Nice shatter. Zappis is down. Elivo sends the mech in, but perfect shield block by Milky Man, and a massive shatter. He hits 4 people. Facility's going to be the first casualty of war, meaning Gigantti are a man down. Apparently, it doesn't matter how much of a big shatter you hit Milky Man, your team is still going to die. Little Bo, Zappe, and Milky Man go flying, and Team Gigantti are thwarted yet again.
Some luck there for Urki. He had the rally armor, which meant that he didn't die from the 300 damage delivered by Milky Man's charge. He got instantly healed up thereafter by the investment of the Transcendence. And of course, Luddy is also held on to the sound barrier, so he's got a distinct advantage over Lilbo here. They can be aggressive with this sound barrier if they're ult tracking perfectly, and they know that there's no answer on this in terms of support ultimates for Team Gigantti. They can just try and roll into Milky Man.
Both grabs are available, or at least coming up soon. Davin only a couple of % away. Look at that charge in on the back line. Davin was instantly focused down, and now Angry Titans layering on the pressure. Lolchis falls extremely low and ends up going down to Little Bo. But Angry Titans still surging on forwards. Only invest 1 ultimate yet again. Their ultimate economy this game is just on another level.
Well, they invested the sound barrier, and over the course of that, they got themselves yet another Graviton Surge ready to go. They can combine that with Elivo and the Self-Destruct. They've got to wait for Loltish to return though, because they need that charge through in order to make it work. There's potential way that Davin can lay down another defensive grab. He did it on the courtyard fight as well to make sure no charge can come through from Loltish. If we see dual grabs, I expect the defense.
Double grabs and a Self-Destruct on top of that cart. People are going to get shielded. Only gone with the perfect shield priority. Another Self-Destruct launched in by Elivo. Shield is almost removed. Milky Man goes extremely low, but Loltish is actually going to fall. In amongst that grab, Team Gigantti were able to focus down the main tank of Angry Titans. He does have the shatter available, and there is still time on the clock. 1 minute and 40 seconds remains for AT.
Davin and Milky Man well able to defend themselves from that incoming damage from the combination of both the Self-Destruct and the Graviton Surge. And then Angry Titans, they've committed so much. I mean, it looks a little bit foolish when no one died after you commit 2 ultimates. It's like, oh, I guess we're committed now, but you don't have anything to try and finish that out. Zuppe managed to keep a hold of that Transcendence as well. He's ahead of AFOX. Potentially here they could make an aggressive play with the Transcendence if Luddy invests himself with the speed boost and can't afford to disengage. Then Lilbo can speed everyone forward. But look at the time bank. Angry Titans have 1 minute left, and the pressure once again is on.
Milky Man trying to bait him in. He's got that shatter. You know, he's got his finger over the Q key. Has to be careful. Secondary barrier now down for Only God. This could be the opening that he needs. Beautiful stun into the shatter, but Milky Man comes up big. There's the shatter from Milky Man, and again, he's going to get blocked up by Lolsish. Both Transcendences now used. Gigantti's a little bit further behind. Facility now trapped in. There's no bot, but it's not needed because Only God's right-clicking. Elivo's mech gets destroyed, but I think that is the only casualty of the war for AT. Team Gigantti need the quickest recap of their lives. Davin has the grab, but there's only 20 seconds remaining.
Well, he's going to be combining it with a Self-Destruct as well. Lilbo can speed everyone forward, but Milky Man needs to be on point here with the charge. He needs to remove Lolsish. They need to play mind games with Only God. They need to make sure he's used those projected barriers, which can block the Self-Destruct so effectively. The cart is rolling in towards the finish, but Team Gigantti stand in its way.
There's the bomb. Davin's dead. Only God and Lolsish find 2 kills. Only God finds another as Little Bo falls. Davin with the grab ends up dying and costing them the points.
And they had 1 second on the clock, Jaws. That means that Team Gigantti are going to have to attack first. They're going to have to be the pace car. And then Angry Titans are going to very much understand what their win conditions are. Look at it, a beautiful 1 minute and 1 second. That is all you need for singular second to make sure your enemy is in more trouble. And if we think back to Team Gigantti's first attack, it took them 2.5 minutes to get past that first corner. If you can repeat that again on the side of Angry Titans, well, that is going to be a very easy win on Dorado. Team Gigantti, meanwhile, well, their first point defense was a little bit more lackluster. They sort of waited until the courtyard to make their stand.
Gigantti are only 1 point away, 1 map away of putting themselves in a match point position. And then it all relies on Angry Titans potentially getting the next 3 after that. Pressure is mounting. At 1 second, like you mentioned, does lead Angry Titans to be in a nice position. Like you said, pace car is now being driven by Gigantti.
And they are. Hard to see how far they can get with the minute they have been afforded. Well, there's also been a minute given to Angry Titans, of course, and their 1 second, which is incredibly important, like we touched on before. It doesn't look like both of our teams are going to be staying back with this classic 3-3. And, well, I said that Team Gigantti seemed to have had the advantage in 3-3, but I think that was only for the first 2 maps. The halftime, well, the break very much afforded Angry Titans some new life, breathed some extra into them. They now know a little bit more about Team Gigantti's playstyle and playing around it a little bit better.
Same comps. Not too much of a surprise, just the 3-3. Now, Losish and Milky Man, the veteran against the rookie. Losish goes extremely low. Same with Milky Man, in fact. He goes down yet again. Again, target priority so good for Gigantti, but Losish is going to fall as well. Little Bo actually dying there is going to make sure Gigantti have to go for the regroup. 30 seconds now remain. Half the time bank is gone.
Little Bo's going to take or rather, Lost is going to take a long time to respawn as well. Meanwhile, Team Gigantti are right next to theirs. It's going to be a disengagement, but Angry Titans, they don't have Luddy to speed them away. They could just be easy pickings here for Davin as he builds up towards that Graviton Surge. Look at how far ahead of Onigod he is. He's 50% ahead when it comes to generating this grab. Lost's almost already lost his shield.
And they are playing so far up as well, leaving so much room for that card to actually move. You can see now it coming under the archway. Davin, 95% on the grabs. Gonna have the first grab of the game. And only got so far behind. If this gets eaten, this could be all over. They charge straight towards Davin, and 4 people are caught up. Milky Man with a giant flame strike, but just at the very end, A-Fox comes in with his own Transcendence to save them. Milky Man's dead, and they're trading evenly for now. And a Transcendence from Team Gigantti might all that they need. A self-destruct gets blocked by Losish, and the hammer hits the floor, but instantly reactive is Davin with those shields to keep his team up on their 2 feet.
Davin gave him a block, and now it's an all-out brawl on the card, but Team Gigantti, they're turning it in their favor.
Losish, Luddy, Elibo, they're all gone. Gigantti can cap second point. Angry Titans now only need 1 fight to end the map.
If you want a member of a Church of Davin, you've got to be now. He managed to block up that entire shatter with his personal barrier. Made sure that Losish's dreams just died before his eyes. It's going to be Team Gigantti claiming a little bit of that space. They're going to have to be on the cart, at least one of them at all times, because overtime, after so long, is going to tick down incredibly fast. For now, we've got 2 people on there. Davin is trying to bring up these mortars. You can see they're landing onto the aggressing Angry Titans.
One fight to end the round. Onigod has that grab. Davin nearing his. He throws it in. Milky Man and Davin are caught up. They need the additional damage, but a beat is going to save them. Angry Titans received a beat as well as Losish earns himself that shatter. There will be something. Well, Davin's definitely dead. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Losish shattered absolutely nothing in a corridor containing no members of Gigantti. Davin is dead though and still need to go find the respawn. All they need to do is push them off the cart. Self-destruct high in the sky. Gets blocked up by Milky Man, but Zappis needs to scurry for cover. There'll be another self-destruct coming up, leaving A-Fox completely alone, and that is Davin now switching on to his signature Tracer to try and clutch out the end.
Well, it may well work. He's got so many targets in his face, but Onigod lays down the Graviton Surge.
There's no damage follow-up though. A Flame Strike might be good enough. Elivo, in fact, finds 2. Both supports now dead for the side of Team Gigantti. They have so little heals now. Only Facility keeping them alive. Losish ends up going down. Brick Prison is where you'll stay, Facility, if you're playing like this. Davin so desperately trying to find the kills, and a beat from Luddy might just seal the deal as Milky Man dies and Zappis is to follow.
It's absolute chaos right here. Potentially Angry Titans will get a few respawns, but so will Team Gigantti. Davin throws out the pulse bomb, but they're not on the cart, Jaws.
Davin throws out the pulse bomb, had to back away for just a brief moment. They managed to capture the first point, but now the win condition is set.
Did you notice that in that grab from Onigod, Elivo actually got 2 kills with the Bunny Blaster? With the DV, they don't actually suffer from damage fall-off, so they just aimed at the heads, and of course they don't really move from the Graviton Surge. They're just dealing so much Bunny Blaster damage. I think it could do like maybe 200 DPS. I don't really know the numbers behind the Bunny Blaster, but it can deal a lot of damage if you're hitting those headshots from long range. No damage fall off. There was no way to mitigate it because Milky Man wasn't there. So, well, who says Baby Divas can't frag out?
Hey, I thought that was a very, very good grab, and they managed to actually survive it with the beat, but nope, absolutely not. There was no one on it. That was the thing. And then 2 people come up in the kill feed. I'm like, oh, I guess they're dead.
And that also got Elivo his mech back as well, which of course meant he could brawl out for a lot longer, getting close with those fusion cannons, and of course use the defense matrix, which is very important for mitigating damage incoming from players like Zappe and Davin.
1 point was acquired by Team Gigantti. Now it is their turn to defend. We'll see if that extra second actually means a difference on the side of AT. It's now their chance to attack.
So what was definitely my #1 problem for Gigantti on their first point defense here was that they bisected themselves and they tried to disengage from the fight. Like you saw, Zappis and Milky Man went down that staircase, and then we had Milky Man had to try and charge to reunite with his team. They need to be a lot more clear on their communication regarding where they're going to disengage to if they take another fight.
Pollitt playing a little bit more scared now. Doesn't want to suffer the same fate as Milky Man, and himself actually suffered in that last round.
Gonna have to see. Only God's got a lot of energy to work with, throwing in those mortars. It's actually going to try for a couple of cheeky hits onto the supports. Not quite the guaranteed damage that you'd look at if you're looking at the tanks and doing a lot of damage. Losish moving straight in onto Zappis. That's a very aggressive play, Jaws.
Beautiful speed boost from the Lucio is going to end his life, and now only 30 seconds remain. Zerpe and Milky Man are going to frag out as well, finding a couple of kills of their own, but Angry Titans are in control of the cart.
At this point, any lost fight may well spell doom for Angry Titans. We are on the knife's edge as these overtime fights, and Team Gigantti can end it with any of their major ultimates. They have an Earth Shatter available, and of course, if they win this, they'll put themselves onto match point. They're going to be hungry for it, and they've got the tools. The Earth Shatter, the Graviton Surge, only got us slightly behind, and so is Lolsish. It needs to be perfect play here from Angry Titans to go against this onslaught. We've only got one person on the card at the moment, so it's moving rather slowly. They don't want to give away any free space to Gigantti. There's
clinical execution straight onto Milky Man's shield, but Zoppe with the answering transcendence and Eaton Graviton Surge. Zappis, nom 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 nom, thank you very much, Only God, and that shadow from Milky Man might just seal it. Zappis and Milky Man coming up huge, Facility fighting too as well. The self-destruct wasn't even needed, and now it is just a Fox left alone. Team Gigantti on match point in the finals.
You thought that having a Graviton would win you that fight, not when Zappis is around. He's going to eat it up as you put nom, 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 and also nomming down on chances of opening up the field. It's going to be match point for Team Gigantti.
After losing out in Season 1 and not making it to the finals in Season 2, this is their redemption in Season 3. And Davin, he's hungry for it. He's only won 1 Contenders before, then losing out to British Hurricane in the finals in Season 1. He's got his sights set on it. We've got our sights set on the 5th map as well. It's going to be Control. We'll see you guys in a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Team Gigantti versus Angry Titans. Right now, Team Gigantti are 1 map away from securing their first Contenders win since 2017. We're heading towards control, and if history repeats itself, this could be a very, very quick series.
Very recent history, 2-0 on Lijiang Tower in favor of Team Gigantti. So that Gigantti arrow is pointed firmly in the face of victory. They're going to be hungry for it, but you know the Angry Titans, they don't want that same repeat of what happened at the Paris World Cup group stage just a few months ago, where their dreams were pretty much spoiled by Eagle Gaming.
Oh, it's not going to be on Ilios, which was the map in question. It's going to be Busan as our potential final map of the series. Now, Busan's a fairly interesting one when it comes to compositions ran over the last few weeks, or the last few days, I should say, really. As Winstrike, we've seen a whole bunch of Mei, and we've seen a little bit of Mei from Angry Titans as well. They are hovering it, as we've seen Onigod take the fight to Winstrike, in fact, dominated them with their own strategy.
Yeah, Onigod has co-opted the Mei, and of course, for Mei, for those of you who haven't tuned in to European Contenders before, has multiple uses within these compositions to put up a wall behind the Reinhardt and try and isolate him, or try and isolate any Zaryas that get incredibly aggressive and try and farm extra ult charge. But also, the slowness, or rather the slowing that is affected on the primary fire of Mei can also make people in incredibly vulnerable positions, because they aren't able to move as much as you'd assume while you are playing on these heroes, and that means you make bad decisions. But not on the Mei this time. It's going to be 3-3 for both sides once again, and it seems like much of an even matchup thus far. In the first half of the series, it was very much in the favor of Team Gigantti, as it's the scoreline right now.
Oh, so it's already sitting on a nice ult bag. Yeah, Zuppe going a little bit low. He's okay though. There you go, receives the armor pack, restoring all of his HP and shields. Can obviously restore a little bit of HP just through his own shields recharging, but a bit of HP to top him off. Point is going to get unlocked. Lotus is already 70% towards that Shadow. Milky Man very much trailing behind. Angry Titans taking a lot of damage here, not quite as disciplined behind Lolsish's shield as they would like. It's going to be a lot of stress here for the healers trying to bring everyone up. Meanwhile, Team Gigantti look rather untouched. There's the barrier, it's been destroyed. Lolsish takes the opportunity. Zappis' mech is already going to go down, but I believe that was absorbed. We're not entirely sure what by, though. Lolsish makes a very dangerous charge straight into Milky Man, got stunned up by the brig, and actually nets Gigantti their first kill of the match. There's the beat from Gigantti as well to hopefully secure it. Haven't got the point just yet, but look at this. Onigod coming back with his own Graviton Surge, but it's going to be instantly by Zuppe using that Transcendence.
Focus isn't there to try and take down one character through the Transcendence healing. Elivo still keeping that contested, so Team Gigantti are not yet going to accrue percentage, but there is the flip in favor of Team Gigantti. And there we saw Lolsich make a very risky charge, and he was definitely punished for it. It was Facility or Milky Man who managed to get the counter charge / shield bash, giving him a mutual stand in the middle of Team Gigantti, and then everyone rounded upon him. And we talk constantly during this game about how vital it is for your main tank not be taken down in these 3-3 compositions, because it means you feed over a huge amount of ult charge, which Davin is swimming in. He has the Graviton ready to go.
Yes, he has. And Zappis nearing that self-destruct too. I can imagine they're going to wait for 10%. You might as well at this point. Luddy's going to have the answering sound barrier, but it might not be enough. What? That shatter right past the wall. Losi's just going to go down, but Davin's actually going to follow him. He had the grab available yet again. This can't be like Dorado. Milky Man, just so much pressure laid upon him now.
Elivo can use that self-destruct should it be required. Milky Man gets the repair pack, going to give him a lot of health, and the Discord orb. Zappis going to strike first.
Zappis just walks up, places the self-destruct right in front of Elivo, says not today, scurry for cover. Facility takes the time and actually kills Urki. There is a Graviton Surge, but it's only going to actually impact Milky Man, and manages to survive and find the pin on Elivote. All the armor's been removed, but Milky Man went so low. Losish needs to die right here, right now, or Team Gigantti are in a very sticky situation.
Bloody's desperately trying to heal him up. There's going to be a quick disengage, and Milky Man's going to respawn, but Davin's back, and he does have the Graviton Surge. He's been killed with it so many times, but now he's going to have some extra armor. Facility is used for rally, and there, Lolsish moving forward, can't find any damage thus far.
Shatter again, absorbed by Lolsish's shield. Davin still has the grab. We are looking at Lolsish earning his own shatter as well. Just has to weave around the shield. Doesn't need to when you're stunned. There's the beat, but Milky Man's already dead. Davin has to make a play right now, or they could lose the point. At 90%, 100% though wouldn't be such a bad option. They could just save the ults. Both Transcendences have been used, and actually Team Gigantti is the first to get grabbed. Angry Titans are going to be able to clean the rest of them up and cap the point, but we are in 99% and one fight territory for AT.
And Angry Titans had so much trouble closing out. You gotta cap the point! He's probably on top of the bongo. Have a look, there he is. Lilbo being cheeky, but from about 50% there, Angry Titans had basically won the fight. They managed to get the pick onto Milky Man, and Lolsish survived, albeit just about. And then, well, they just couldn't make the fight happen. Gigantti kept coming to contest for point, and they got themselves to 99%. And now Team Gigantti, knowing that they have the luxury of time, can build up a 6 ultimate bank to win one fight and take this first stage of Busan.
Angry Titans cannot lose one single fight. Davin caught out alone. Elivo does have the self-destruct, and they might be able to combine it with that Earth Shatter if they can build it up in time. Gigantti have the Gigantti combo, and Facility has the rally. The grab gets thrown in, Zap is using the self-destruct, the beat get laid down as well, and the shield is removed. Urki ends up going down, and Elivo goes extremely low, but Angry Titans still holding on. They cannot let the point go. Zap's mech is going to fall, and their self-destruct is perfectly comboed with a charge coming through from Lolsish, removing Milky Man from the map.
Lolsish went deep, but wasn't punished for it, though he managed to make his way back to his team. But actually, Davin there had a really cool feint. He actually went around one side of a drum, thinking that Elivo would put his defense matrix there, and he was absolutely right. Then he doubled back on himself and laid down the Graviton Surge on the other side, where Elivo did not have line of sight. So that was some very intelligent play. Didn't work out, though, and now Onigod has the advantage of Angry Titans. If Team Gigantti take a long time to set up here, this could be their last fight. They could do the 99 to 100 reverse.
Grab 10x with 3 people. Little Bo's already dead. That 200 HP target instantly dispatched with. And Lolsish with the perfect charge as well kills Milky Man.
And that was such a quick fight. Very few members of Team Gigantti had the chance to build up towards those ultimates. Still, only Milky Man with one available, and Lolsish has got yet another in his favor as well. 8fox has such a huge advantage here in terms of a Transcendence. Zappe only just used this, he needs another 80%, but for only 8 seconds, not going to be able to get that up now.
They're taking round the wall! They managed to get him. 4 people hit the ground. Lolsish, the perfect play on the ride, using that brig shield, just peek round the corner. OT disappears, and AT find the turnaround.
And this is what I said about tempo jaws. When Angry Titans control the flow of the game, that's when Gigantti need to be scared. They did not expect the old whip round the corner, the laying down of the hammer, and the laying down of their hopes of claiming that stage of Busan. Still, we're moving over to downtown now. You can see more DPS play here, utilizing the high ground. You can see Farah's as well, but both of these teams, I imagine, they are very firm in the belief that they are the better 3-3, but at the moment it seems entirely even.
Series dictates that Team Gigantti will pick more of a tank-focused comp, and we may see Angry Titans flex onto something different. I don't think that's going to be the case, as Onigod is going to be on that Zarya. The gates unlock, and 30 seconds into that point does as well.
Question is, who's going to make the play to go to a point first? Who's going to try and play around the high ground? Those are the 2 main positions you want to be jostling for on downtown. For now, they're going to be playing around the advertisement, the central pavilion, which affords some cover to these Reinhardts, but you got to make sure you're also saving your shield. Onigod's going to take the high ground here. It's going to be Zappis' job to try and dislodge him. Will he use the boosters for that? We do know that when Zappis uses those boosters, that's when he's usually aggressed upon with the speed boost. It's often called by Luddy. It happened on Dorado as well.
Nice headshot actually onto Lolsish. Sends him reeling, but personal barrier used by Onigod as well as his secondary. Just make sure he stays alive. Zappe going fairly low on this high ground. Elivo's mech is the recipient of all those micro missiles and actually ends up getting taken down. Baby D.Va not quite so useful on this point. Point is going to be unlocked, and both teams now contesting.
Onigod caught out alone here. He's going to have to rejoin his team. Team Gigantti have control. Angry Titans, they're going to give it over for free. They didn't make their way onto the point, so potentially a misplay here, but they may be trying to set up for a better fight, maybe waiting for Elivo to have that mech. But guess what? Team Gigantti aren't going to give away that for free.
Beautiful shatter straight onto the Lucio. Can he get the pin? No, he cannot. Instantly shield bashed. There will be a grab from Onigod, who has the premium over Davin, who's only 15% away. The shadow onto Milky Man, but the bash was too late. It might not matter, but it does now, as Luddy ends up using that sound barrier and speed boost to corner Lolsish. All this time as well, Harry, they have been controlling the point.
The counter-attack is here. Elivo's come back. Davin and Milky Man are down. It's only squishy members of Team Gigantti remaining.
There is a beat, but it's actually only onto Luddy. None of his other teammates actually received that one. It might matter right now as they are losing members thick and fast. Avox is going to fall, as well as OniGod. Gigantti continue to hold as we see Milky Man now coming back to the point.
There's still a growing percentage, and here comes the self-destruct. They're going to have to block this out somehow. No one's actually going to be afflicted by it. Early Vote's above him, but he's incredibly low. Needs to be the recipient of a health pack or a repair pack that cannot be used by Lolsish, however, when he does get this.
Oh, the grab on the corner there, just catching the Reinhardt. Lolsish in very, very big trouble. Angry Titans are now forced to reset. There has not been a reset this whole map just yet, and we're up to 70% now for Team Gigantti.
And that's because they allowed Team Gigantti to get that initial cap, and they were also still there and able to contest. A critical mistake for Angry Titans, which has brought them closer to defeat on this stage. But this is exactly what we saw before. They put all their eggs in the last fight basket. They're building up towards that Graviton Surge. They're well ahead of Davin here. Milky Man, however, has a distinct advantage when it comes to the Earth Shadow. If he can combine with Vigility, this could seal the fate.
Oh, they managed to get two at the back. I believe the Demon, potentially the Lucio. A Transcendence used by Avox there to make sure he doesn't actually hit the ground as well. A Graviton Surge was thrown in by OniGod, but that was eaten up by Zappis. Now it is 99%. 18 need to repeat of the first stage of this map, or they will end up forfeiting it. Lolsish has the shadow and lays it down. 3 people hit the floor, and now it's time to strike. OniGod finds 2, and Milky Man's going to end up trading up, but he's going to also fall. Angry Titans are going to be able to find the recap, but once again they're in the same situation as they were on Sanctuary.
Oh, a bit of deja vu here for Team Gigantti, no doubt. Will they have learned from their previous defeat on Sanctuary? Angry Titans still have a lot of ultimates to play with here, almost 5 of them. Lolsish was the only one to invest. He did use that Earth Shadow, of course, catching 3 and allowing OniGod to clean that up and build himself up towards the Graviton Surge. Question is, what are you going to combine with this? Elivote does have the self-destruct available, but if you try and grab him up high where Elivote's currently shooting, you've got to be careful about being able to hit a charge.
I'll get this one eaten again, OniGod. He throws it in, round the corner, finds 2, self-destruct on top, dunked on your head. Vigility managed to protect Milky Man for the time from the self-destruct, but Luddy pounces, and Urki does as well, and they end up finding the team wipe.
No, Angry Titans took that fight just there. They were allowing Team Gigantti to move into them. Here we may see Angry Titans try and take a wholly different fight and engage a little bit more early, using tempo to their advantage.
Luddy has that sound barrier, and Avox still with that Transcendence. They have 3 support ults to use as Team Gigantti aggress. Lolsish going low. It's going to have to be a little bit more careful now as Milky Man does have that shadow. Davin actually throws that self-destruct right at the back, potentially. Oh, Milky Man actually got boots. Couldn't remove the shield, but it didn't matter. Zappis finds the self-destruct kill onto Lolsish. That shadow did not quite get interrupted, and it manages to kill off Elivote. They're going to stand and now be able to cap the point. It's all on Lolsish getting back and potentially landing an Earth Shatter.
Beautiful defensive play from those Lucios. Luddy's still keeping this contested, but overtime's going to start ticking down quickly. Urki's got his eyes on the prize right here.
Lolsish is back, but instantly that Earth Shadow is met by the sound barrier. A grab onto the point, but Lolsish falls too low. He ends up going down as Zuppe clicks on his head. Elivote has changed over to the board, but it might be too little too late. He manages to find at least the mech, but Team Gigantti have the numbers. They have the driving force. Vigility ends up going down as well, but Team Gigantti might not be able to hold this for much longer as Milky Man ends up going down. OniGod's back. C9 by 18 as Team Gigantti, lesser in numbers, end up winning downtown.
Well, they may have not had the numbers. They did not have an Elivote either, but what they did have was control of the point, and Elivote just got a little bit too bloodthirsty. And now we're 1-1. Team Gigantti 1 stage away on Busan from taking all of Contenders Europe Season 3. They've been hungering for it since the seasons of 2017, and now they once again stand on the edge of this. Right back to Season 1, it was 4-3 in favor of British Hurricane, and now it's a lot more safe for Team Gigantti. It's within their grasp, and it will be Mecha Base.
And it will be Mei Goats as well, Harry. Or Mei 3-3, 3-2-1, I guess. Mei's kind of a tank, kind of a DPS. Heals herself too.
She does. She also has no damage drop-off, so if she hits some of those icicles, 150 damage is going to get a lot of that Blizzard charge. Going to try and combine it likely with the Graviton Surge, but for now they're out of effective range of a primary fire for Mei. It's going to be a few love taps exchanged over the periphery of the point.
A comp very much popularized by Windstrike. Wall-off, attempted wall-off on Milky Man. Doesn't quite find it, but May sticking on the high ground. He's going to have to contest it at some point. Jumps down to potentially free Zappis, and a free charge target that is for the Reinhardt. Another wall does block off Facility, but Gigantti once again take the point first.
Another mistake from Angry Titans, but Milky Man made a few of his own. Loftus just going to get healed up, and A-Fox going to take down Davin.
All right, Davin's going down, so it does mean potentially a quick recap here. And look at the ultimates we've already got online, Harry. Only God's just been clicking heads, dude. He's got that Blizzard, the rally's coming up, and even the Snow Globe as well. That Blizzard with the Graviton Surge is potentially the next team fight winning combo for AT.
And Zappis is one with the potential to shut that down, or Zuppe using the Transcendence, but ideally you want to be able to eat the Blizzard as it comes through. But Only God can stop you from eating any of those ultimates by using the freeze rate on you before and giving you the stun.
Nice bait on the wall. There's the rally for Angry Titans. They do manage to land the Blizzard on top of the Graviton Surge, but Zuppe's keeping everybody alive. Zappis frozen in place. Same with Little Bo as his life has quickly ended. Milky Man is going to go down as well. Angry Titans still with a premium of ultimates.
Yeah, they do. Team Gigantti a little bit low at the moment. They only have a rally to work with, and of course the rally that Erky just used still has the armor onto Elivo, onto Luddy, onto A-Fox. Only God here may try to get an early attack. There it is, frozen up is Davin.
Beautiful sneaky play. Facility and Davin are going to go down. 18% to now 50 for Angry Titans. This is so close. They just need to be able to kill Only God in order to make a dent in AT's comp.
And I keep saying the word, Jaws, but tempo. This is where Angry Titans are in control, when they can control when the fights happen and where they do so as well. Erky giving a scout here is going to send over the information to his teammates. A potential engage is going to be clean from Team Gigantti. They're all past the wall and they're onto the point.
Rally for Gigantti, and they're going to be able to catch rather swiftly. What was that? He moved up into the air but still landed the shatter. Losish finds the charge kill onto Facility, and now a Transcendence from A-Fox to potentially seal the deal. There will be Gigantti laying down their own beat, and a shatter does manage to go onto Luddy, but he was shielded that whole time by a particle barrier. Gigantti still managed to find the cap, however, and Davin throws out the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct onto Only God. They find the recap at 82%.
That was so expensive, Jaws. 6 ultimates for Team Gigantti were required. Only God has the Blizzard, but this is worth it for Team Gigantti. They needed to make sure they weren't running into the defensive May, because that's when May really has all of the power. But she's still got a little power in her as well. She's got Snowball, it's all charged up, ready to go. Here comes the Blizzard, potentially can be combined with that Graviton Surge yet again. Lol's just going to drag everyone down to a point and put them into a very dangerous position.
Oh, you got to be careful. Gigantti don't have any support ultimates. Davin's already dead. There's the Blizzard straight on top of the main tank, frozen in the stun animation. Little Bo only just gets unfrozen before Only God clicks on him. Angry Titans are now going to have to recap. One fight for Team Gigantti. If they don't win this, they're going to forfeit the map.
They were grasping at glory, Jaws, but now Angry Titans is trying to take Busan back and put them into a 3-2 situation. Gigantti, they're low on ults, they're low on hope. They are going to have a clean engagement here, potentially. If Milky Man gets caught out by a wall, this could all be over. Angry Titans are all together. The team is ready on the point. They're going to try to watch out and catch out Milky Man.
They managed to touch the point. Overtime has been triggered. Zappis loses his mech and loses his life. The shatter from way back from Losish doesn't hit all of anybody. Both Transcendences have been used in the rally from Team Gigantti as well. A Graviton Surge lands straight onto Zuppe, and only Zuppe, as Davin launches himself in there as well to give him the particle barrier. Only God working himself towards another Blizzard. He's on 70% and overtime is here. Only God in a lot of trouble now, but Facility more so. Milky Man walks straight into him and almost sacrifices himself. He's finally dead as Logsish finds the kill. Team Angry Titans finally take Busan. It was one of the longest OTs we've had.
7 HP in a Dream there for Only God. Did you see how close that was? He just about got the freeze onto Milky Man as the hand was like here in terms of being able to hit him and maybe turning that one around by removing all of that potential 4CC from Only God. But we talked about it at the beginning of the series. Only God on the May, sort of a borrowed tactic from Windstrike, but they iterated. Only God's May is fantastic, and it could well be one of the main tools in the arsenal of Angry Titans as we move forward.
Match points still for Team Gigantti. However, Angry Titans are hanging on in. We're going to jump to a break. We'll be right back with the next map. Guys, welcome back. Team Gigantti versus Angry Titans. This is the grand finals of EU Contenders Season 3. Right now, Team Gigantti are sitting on match point against AT. However, Busan map, if that was something to go by, if we see a little bit more May, Only God could take over the rest of the series.
Well, I don't know how common the May is going to be as we move over to Hybrid. Our pool of Numbani and Hollywood doesn't exactly lend itself that well to May compositions, but we'll have to see if there's something that our teams will decide to pull out once Gigantti has chosen their map.
Well, with Gigantti's map choice, you can imagine they're going to favour something maybe more like Numbani, which they did manage to take off of Angry Titans a little bit earlier on. No full completion for AT, and Angry Titans just sailed it on home. Doesn't like we're changing it up, though. It will be Hollywood.
And let's remember, both of our teams yesterday in the semi-finals both executed full holds against what we thought were going to be incredibly close competition in 1 Point and Morning Stars. So, thus far, we haven't really had to see much of what these guys are going to bring out for playoffs versions when it comes to the Hollywood, because we've only had to see first point, and both of them were clinical holds and then clinical takes, like basically speedrunning.
Yeah, pretty much. It was both 3-3 on either side too, and Hollywood is definitely something that we'd like to see on second point because, again, you can see a lot more Ashe. You can see a lot more Widowmaker too. However, Angry Titans are going to be on the defense, Gigantti on the offense. Doesn't mean we get to look at Angry Titans as comp first, but they're sticking with this, Harry. Might just be 3-3.
Well, why not? Like, both of these teams seem to have got 3-3 down to a T. If there was anything that I would say could improve it, maybe just we need to tone down on the weird charges that both Milky Man and Urki are guilty of throughout the course of this particular match. But, well, sometimes they work out. Like, I saw Milky Man take a really, sort of percentage play charge towards the end of Busan there after they'd already lost their Brigitte and actually managed to pin Urki, which obviously opened it up in terms of the 5v5. But afterwards, even though we did get the pick, Milky Man was isolated and could quickly be rounded upon by Angry Titans. So you sort of got to take the good with the bad. And maybe a little bit more restraint in terms of the Reinhardts could be worthwhile.
Well, it will be 3-3, of course. Full point holds for both teams, like you said yesterday on Hollywood. It's a pretty scary thought, honestly. Hollywood especially, if you do lose one member at the start, it's very easy to kind of roll over because there's not too many mega health packs you can kind of retreat to, and it does take a fair while to actually get back to the point, or at least be in effective range of the point.
Yeah, the only mega health pack really is kind of a commute for the defense and the offense in some cases if they don't go down that back corridor. So he's going to be trying to go for those charge shots to open this up. Lol's just going to be the victim of a lot of aggression here, losing a lot of health. Is going to be using for a repair pack from Urki, but now Gigantti know that's not available for someone else at the moment.
Yeah, that they do. Lolsish, there you go, there's the Discord Orb. Instantly cleansed though. That Zaya Bubble does cleanse the Discord Orb, making sure that Ryan can play a little bit more aggressively. Lolsish does get shattered or shield bashed even. Milky Man ends up on the top of the cafe. Same with Zappis though, who tried to actually help him the defense matrix. Actually pays for it with his mech.
Control of high ground now, but Angry Titans need to be disciplined and stay behind the shield of Lolsish, otherwise they're going to be suffering at the hands of Zuppe, who's going to be building up towards that Transcendence rather fast, but not half as fast as AFOX, who's got the first ultimate ready to go. The Transcendence, he's been doing so much damage over the course of this, Jaws.
Only got doing a lot too, 90% on the grab. Davin not too far behind, only 85%. However, AT, they're in a prime position here. They can just use this corner for a little bit more protection.
Zappis with control of the high ground elevator, opting not to knock him off. Instead, it's going to be the entrance with that rally.
Wow, the split up from Team Gigantti running straight through Angry Titans, holding on in on Urki. Zappis throws his Graviton Surge in, same with Only God. But that Transcendence coming through from Zuppe is going to make sure they survive all the incoming damage. And it's just the mech being finished off, and Elivote himself being finished off too. Team Gigantti are going to be able to cap first point and get that cart moving.
A little bit there with hero positioning, managing to negotiate his way around Lolsish's shield when everyone was caught inside that Graviton Surge. And because Lolsish went down due to the fire of Lilbert, it meant that the rest of Gigantti could carve down Angry Titans. Meanwhile, they were all stuck in the Graviton as well, but Milky Man could just hold right click and Angry Titans couldn't do anything in response to try and deal damage back. So Lilbo managed to clutch out that fight, and you can see that both him and Luddy are about equal on charges towards the sound barriers now. So neither of them really going to dictate the pace of this in terms of aggression, knowing the enemy team doesn't have the sound barrier, but they're going to try and maybe do it maybe a couple of seconds after, like we talked about before, having the advantage in terms of overshield decay.
Almost equal ultimates now available. That jump up into the air is going to actually connect with one. It's going to be Elivote, but he's got a lot of health and a lot of armor. Even more so now, as Urki does use that rally. And you can see AT just taking so much room here. Perfect counter charge coming through from Team Gigantti. Milky Man isolating Lowstish. Lowstish checked to his right, left-hand side and got completely baited in. Now Team Gigantti can march on forward, knowing AT don't have a main tank.
They thought they had Milky Man isolated, but Milky Man was just playing with them, combining with the stun of Facility, managing to hit exactly what he wanted. And now Zuppe doesn't have anything coming in between him and hitting those orbs, building up once again towards that Transcendence. Both him and Avox very much equal footing with these. We are going to be seeing pretty much equal ultimates from both teams moving forward. Only God and Davin both going towards those Graviton surges, but Lowstish has the key advantage in this Earth Shatter. Can he combine with Urki to put down the hammer once again? It's been very much a tool for Angry Titans through this series, but that's too aggressive for me, my dude.
That right click, you see him lower his shield, swung the hammer, instantly killed by the right click of Zuppe. That's Davin cleaning up the rest of the members of AT. No ults being used, of course, however. Both teams are going to sit on almost 6 here. Urki, 15% away. We're almost looking at a full house.
It really does feel like Team Gigantti has got a feeling for the timing of Lowstish, when he's going to put his shield down, when he's going to do these fire strikes, when he's going to make the swings. And like you said, Zuppe was ready to unleash that right click at just a moment. And now you can see Davin ready to use this Graviton Surge. Is going to manage to land it. Everyone caught inside.
Pins it to the wall. There's the self-destruct. It's going to get blocked, but all that time you could see Zappis moving that cart forward. They didn't need to kill anybody there. They just needed to deliver that payload. 4 minutes now in the time bank of Team Gigantti.
Business health is a time bank gets on Hollywood, basically unstopped thus far for Team Gigantti. Going to be moving forward with the Shadow, but Lowstish holds his nerve.
Straight into the shield of Lowstish, and even if he let that one down, Only God was there with the particle barrier too.
Really was. Lowstish going to be ready to try and strike back. But thus far, he has been exploited for his over-aggression. We're going to have to see if there's actually going to be a flank here from Facility to try and hit that shield bash. Don't think it's going to be too effective if they don't have the Shadow to combine with it, but can allow a lot of pressure onto Lowstish, who's now been afflicted with the Discord Orb. Will require the cleanse. There's the Shadow.
Nice Shadow. Straight onto Milky Man, but Luddy once again. Lilbo once again coming up big with that beat, not getting hit down by that Shatter. AT are also going to use theirs. Both Graviton Surges coming out once more. There's a Transcendence though for AT, so they have the HP advantage. You can see they're putting it to good use. They are going to be able to hold Gigantti for the time being. 1 minute has elapsed since they delivered that payload, and the cart hasn't moved apart from the moving through the door.
And there, the difference in decision making was that Avox knew he had to save Lowstish in this scenario, because Angry Titans need to stem the bleeding, we need to plug the hole, we need to make sure that Team Gigantti weren't going to be able to roll forward. But Zuppe knew, we have all the time in the world on point C. I don't need to invest my Transcendence now. I've got a significant advantage to ferry forward my Reinhardt, as we see here.
That's exactly what they're doing, but Facility gets pinned. That instantaneous damage from Lowstish just make sure they remove one support. Milky Man now has a Shatter. Lowstish not too far behind, however, and Team Gigantti, they know they need the stun Shatter to actually make it work. So waiting for Facility to spawn is probably the good move.
Does mean Zuppe is going to be playing those long sightlines, making sure Lowstish is constantly pressured on his shield health, but he's going to be below Milky Man. He's going to lose out on that door, but Milky Man's losing a lot of health himself. He needs to make sure he keeps an eye on Urki, because Lowstish can try and make sure it works.
Stun, Shatter, but particle barrier on Milky Man. There's the Shatter from him too. Goes into the shield of Lowstish. Davin actually gets grabbed on the back near the cart, and that will be AT using their own Transcendence. 1-for-1 trade as Davin and Luddy go down. As self-destruct to try and find a remake. Only God tried to get the right clicks in, but couldn't make it work. A beat from Team Gigantti now to surge them forward. They have got the HP advantage, plus the overshield, and Facility makes it work, killing off Urki. And now Milky Man could just swing on away and earn himself another Shatter.
Only God got cheeky there in his attempts to make sure that Zappis went down. He got absolutely punished for it. Milky Man saw it from a mile away, rounded upon him when he didn't have that projected barrier. He used to farm energy from the self-destruct, but now Team Gigantti, being one map away from claiming Overwatch Contenders Season 3, they are moving towards the finality of Hollywood. They're going to try and close it out with the Graviton Surge.
Nice grab. Pin actually goes a little bit wide. Only got going extremely low, throws out his grab. Self-destruct on top though. This might just be it. The Shatter and the boot wasn't enough to actually get them displaced enough for the self-destruct to work. Lowstish now moving forward with the help of the Transcendence. Milky Man trying all he can to get a pin, but Only God saw it coming and takes him out. They still have a minute to work with though.
I'm trying to figure out where Lilbo is. There he is. I was wondering if he was going to go for the back cap again. It was so close to completion. Angry Titans waiting until the last possible and perfect second to contest that point. It was a great positioning of the self-destruct from Ellie Vote, but Team Gigantti just had too many mitigating factors to make sure that blast was not going to claim any life. You can see Lulsish now playing around the corner. Meanwhile, Milky Man has the distinct advantage of having to come through the choke.
Self-destruct right up into the air.
Has happened? What is this? Urkian only got him dead. There were shields. Where were you?
Evo's going to get demegged and Davin's going to make short work of him, but not before Avox can get his hands on him. 5 meters now remain and a pause.
Okay, we got a DC.
Unfortunately comes through. Yes, it's Little Bow.
Okay, so maybe lost a significant amount of ultimate charge there. I'm not sure exactly where he was, but how does this happen that two players with personal barriers in terms of not only the personal barrier of Zarya, but also a personal shield of Brigitte die to a self? They can't both be stunned, can they?
I don't think. No, Brick can't stun 2 people.
Unless an Earth Shatter occurred, but I don't think an Earth Shatter happened there.
Went straight up into the skies and potentially booped. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Little Bow hit his right click a little bit too hard.
Maybe I'd say he rocked him so hard he DC'd, but I'd say the most likely candidate would be that boop. Like if a Reinhardt was shielding before them, say we're the victims, and he gets booped up by Little Bow, we just get blasted away by the Diva Bomb. That's the most likely candidate for what happened there. Either that or they just completely misjudged the timing. Maybe they misclicked.
It wasn't even combined with anything, that's the thing. And something we've seen throughout Contenders is the grab into the self-destruct, but Divas have been getting better, man. Maybe they watched Geteme's video, I'm not entirely sure, but Zappis especially has been finding these solo self-destructs without the need of a grab.
Yeah, hopefully he did have the aid of Lilbo, who I imagine is currently kicking his PC in righteous anger.
I hope not. Something might fall out, and then he might not be able to turn it on.
Come back with like 8 less gigs of RAM.
Equaling 0. Or maybe he's got 16. I'm not entirely sure. We do apologize, of course, for the pause. It does look like Little Bow did DC, but we should be back momentarily. Hollywood, especially on this last point, if you do end up going down rather quickly, there's such a long walk back from the spawn if you are an attacker, and it's so short for the defenders. We'll have to see how the map does end up playing out. Gigantti obviously on the offense. We're going to jump to a quick break though, guys. We'll see you in a moment. Hey guys, welcome back. Apologies for the pause. Does look like a member of Team Gigantti is DC'd ever so slightly, so we should be back into the game rather shortly. Obviously, we are on Hollywood. There we go. The slide comes through and the pause gets unpaused. 15 seconds remaining though. Davin's gonna go down. Now 10 seconds. Zappe actually using the Transcendence at the very end. Davin needs to get back to the point fast. Only got doing just that actually on the ball.
Lilbo just gonna select his character, will be rejoining his team and building up towards that soundbar once again afresh. But Avox has the advantage here, has the Transcendence ready to go.
They do manage to touch the cart in time. Milky Man goes extremely low, but that rally is gonna get used to make sure he stays nice and healthy. A Transcendence is gonna get used by Avox. That shatter in the back line. Nets Milky Man 2 kills. Davin finds Lolsish as well. OT is now in session. AT needs to be able to get back to this point, but Milky Man's refusing to go down quickly. Elivo goes flying, and Only God as well is going to fall. Team Gigantti are going to be able to find the cap and complete Hollywood.
Just keep on swinging. No need for a right click on this Milky Man. He just moved forward, did so much damage. Tries to lay down a shadow, which I believe was blocked by some Xayah bubbles or potentially a Brigitte shield, but at any rate, no kills were found, but he did manage to get a pin onto Luddy, remove all of that AoE healing as well as the potential force speed boost or building up towards Sound Barrier. So Milky Man really being a hero in that last engagement, delivering burst damage as well, which meant that people died through the Transcendence that AFOX was using, because Transcendence doesn't really protect you from burst damage, and that's why we see the popularization of the Graviton and self-destruct combo, because it can deal up to 1,000 damage in one hit, and you can have as much healing as you want, but if you take more damage than your HP bar allows, then you die anyway.
Unless you're a Reinhardt with a beat. For like a fraction of a second.
Well, then you're not taking more damage than the HP bar allows, because it extends.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's why we beat.
Exactly. Well, Gigantti are now on the defense. Angry Titans on the offense. A clear win condition for Gigantti right now. Hold them at first, like they did yesterday, potentially. But Angry Titans, if they do manage to complete with time in the bank, that's very bad news for Team Gigantti.
Especially if they complete with more than 1 minute, they will have the chance to either win or draw by claiming the first 33% of point A. But first, they've got to claim point A the first time, and easier said than done in some cases, especially against Team Gigantti, as some learned very painfully, especially if you happen to be 1 point. I have to see what Angry Titans want to roll out with here. I imagine we will stick to the 3-3. There's no room for experimentation. There's no room for those risky plays here. You've got to stick to what's tried and true, what's worked for you thus far, and what you truly believe in.
Zappe just needs to find one of those opening picks onto AFOX or another support, and normally nets them with at least a lot more time in the bank. AT, I'm going to take the high ground away from Team Gigantti.
Nice rotation right here. Milky Man could be quickly aggressed upon. He's actually separate from most of the team, but does mean that Vigility can move in if needed with a shield bash to try and take out Lolsish. Going straight into the back, they're trying to circumvent Milky Man.
What a poop actually coming through from Littlebo. Pushed Lolsish away from the rest of the team, straight into the clutches of Milky Man. That is Urki going down, bloody 2. Gigantti, what a fight. Littlebo, just some small, minute plays, especially by Lupito players. That right click can be just so instrumental to diffusing so many aggressive situations that Angry Titans can lay forward.
Absolutely. Lucio is so overlooked when it comes to 3-3 because, of course, when it comes to these sort of compositions, positioning can mean the difference between one fight being lost and another being won.
Very aggressive play from Team Gigantti, moving straight out into the playground of Angry Titans. Take the ball away, and they will end up finding the next couple of kills, and Littlebo earning himself a Sound Barrier for the next fight. Looking pretty good. Milky Man very far behind, actually, on the ult charge front.
And you've got to wonder if the stress is already weighing on the minds of Angry Titans for possibility of that full hold. We're only a minute and 20 seconds in, but I'd already be a little bit worried given what I saw yesterday from Team Gigantti. They do have both of their support ultimates ready to go. Going to be very resilient, very hardy in the face of danger, as Angry Titans have only got one. Luddy is significantly behind Lilbo. They're both building up towards Graviton Surges, but only God's going to have the opportunity for the preemptive strike.
Oh, Lolsish actually receives Milky Man on a silver platter. Right in front of his face as he gets boomed in. That's a beat on top of a Transcendence. Not normally what you want to do, but Gigantti needs to be able to turn this one around. There will be a grab and a shatter, but a self-destruct on top. Can they remove the shield? Yes, they can! 4 kills for Zappis. That is how you turn around a fight.
That is how you play Diva. That is how you come and say, I'm going back to the Overwatch League. I don't care what you say. That was a lost fight for so long. And then the perfect positioning of the Diva Bomb slaughtered the Titans, who now have lost half of their time bank. They didn't gain a tick. They invested so much, and David now has a lead on Onigod when it comes to this ultimate. Luddy, however, has a massive premium on the Sound Barrier. They can be aggressive. They can potentially run over Milky Man again.
Elivo's going to need to hit something pretty magical with his self-destruct. They got a couple of support ults and they activate one. Rally forward. Zappis using his thrusters more defensively to gain control of this high ground cafe. Angry Titans are on the point and gaining percent.
Gigantti can afford to flex back here, wait for a mistake to happen. It may well have occurred. They need to move on to a point now, though. 2 ticks have been gained. Luddy's trying to ward from away, but Milky Man has arrived. He's got to watch out. He's got the beat.
1 minute does remain. Gigantti undeterred by that beat. Milky Man just swinging in. A 180 shatter straight onto the Diva. And a Transcendence to survive through that Graviton. A ping coming through from Milky Man to remove Lolsish, but actually nets Lolsish that ult. Elivo finds the kill on Milky Man as well. Urki is going to fall, so it's a 1-for-1 trade in AT's favor potentially, but Davin just going ham, finds 3 kills. This is 30 seconds remaining for Gigantti take the series.
He just pressed W. Lolsish could have got a perfect shadow. There was no consistent shielding there to try and mitigate it, and there was nothing from Davin to try and block it either. But Davin just decided he didn't care. He ran on forward. 25 seconds stand between Team Gigantti and claiming Season 3 of Overwatch Contenders Europe. There are so many tools for Angry Titans, but as we've seen before, Gigantti don't care what you throw at them. They will throw back, and they will throw back harder.
85% on the grab for Davin, but Angry Titans got a wealth of ults. They've got the Gigantti combo. They have the grab, they have the self-destruct, but Davin has earned himself one, and they've got 4 ults of their own. OT is here, the grab comes in, self-destruct more defensively this time, but Zap is used as a self-destruct, but misses. So shielded up, Elivo finds 2. AT finally find the turnaround they need. Milky Man finds one in Urki, but Zape's not done either. Bloody is going to go down as A-Fox finds a kill of his own, and Zap is only got trying to juggle Milky Man, who's not dead just yet. Zape finds yet another kill, but has nowhere to run now. He's only got 1, but Littlebo runs back in with a sound barrier.
They're going to be healthy, George. They're going to be here.
Facility finds one, he finds another. Overtime is here. It's only Lucio on the point, and Team Gigantti will find the Contenders Season 3 European title.
The clutch never ends for Team Gigantti on point A. You think that 3 people isn't enough to win that out. 3 people and a beat. Lilbo was there, Zape was there, Davin was there. Davin's been here all along since the beginning of Contenders, and he's going to finish it a champion.
I'm not entirely sure how Davin survived through the entirety of that fight, and Lilbo coming in with the beat to end it all. Davin truly a superstar of Contenders here in Europe. We're going to toss the panel and they can break down the remaining games.